know who's
Everything
behind
went
this?
good yesterday at the meeting?
Oh, yeah.
The new drama, God
Good,
Friendly.
good.
Then NCISLA is all new.
Yeah.
And the Madam Secretary
I'll share it on
season premiere is
Facebook.
breaking the rules.
I want to run for president.
No pressure.
New Madam Secretary after the new drama God Friended Me and a new NCISLA. CBS Sunday.
The following program, paid for by Right Path Real Estate, does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
But
It's time to get on the right path.
It
with
should.
Right Path Real Estate Radio
Thanks,
with Tom
Nikki.
Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881.
Did you just turn something down? You just got quiet.
Your host, Tom Perry.
hey,
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Welcome to the
All right, here we
show.
go. Hot mics.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Good morning, Chad. Good morning, everybody else that's following us on the Book of Faces. If you want to go follow us, if you're out of town and you're listening through streaming, continue to do that. If you want to watch the show, it's funny when I go to events and talk to people and they go, "Oh man, I watch your radio show every day." It sounds a little bit strange to me. And I was actually flying back from Dallas, had a guy, Clark, took me back to the airport, and he said, "Man, I don't know how long you've been doing radio, but you've got a great radio voice." And I said, "That's not normally what people tell me. People normally tell me I have a face made for radio, but then they also say I have a voice made for print." And then I was describing, what the early days of the radio show were like, and they said, "Well, do you actually go to the studio?" And I go, "No, we built a studio in our office, and we're patched in." They go, "Do you have a producer?" I'm like, "We've got an amazing producer. Her name's Nikki." And I said,
right.
but I remember when we first used to go down to, the studio and sit there, and we'd show up like an hour early, and we'd prep for the show, and the more you do something, the better you get. Most people want to be good at something before they ever get started.
Absolutely.
And now I'm not that guy. I mean, hey, I don't really care what other people think. What I want to do is I want people to know how much I care about changing their life. And then unless they know, the saying, unless people know how much you care, they don't
care how much you know. So
right. Hey, the other voice, my good buddy, my brother from another mother, Daniel Gollinger.
Good morning, everybody.
So welcome.
So in the early days, you would plan out what you were going to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
And have a little
we would
notes
do
and that
research.
sort of thing.
We would do some market trend stuff. And what I realized, it's less about that. It's really more about the mindset of taking action.
And if you have the certain mindset and you care about people a certain way, you can talk about that for 10 hours a day, right?
Absolutely.
You never really run out of topic.
Right.
Which is pretty awesome.
Well, in fact, we won't call out any names or anything like that, but we had somebody come to our weekend retreat, never done real estate before. And our last weekend retreat, it's typically the third weekend of the month. And so we came, sat down on the front row, had literally outside of their own personal residence, has never ever bought a house as an investment piece of property. And, has come into some money due to an inheritance recently and came to the weekend event, liked what they saw, came to a follow-up event, sat down with some folks, and within 2 weeks bought their first 2 properties. I mean, that's taking action. Yeah. And when I look at that type of action taking, because it's going to be the first of many this year.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's going to go from 2 and then 3 and then 4 and 5. I wouldn't be surprised if she has 15 or more properties that are all buy and hold rentals. She didn't have to find them. But we on our team we have contractors, we have appraisers, we have inspectors. It's like all the people that you would need in order to go out and do that. You don't have to. Those relationships are already built. You get to leverage.
But Tom, what if I don't know everything about the house?
Yeah. You would never, ever learn all the things that you need to know until you actually start taking action. That's just what it comes down to. I want to say, hey, Juan, hello. Sonia, hello. Daniel, hello. Sonia, it was fun being with you and your husband last night. It was awesome. So, and great seeing you. I'm so excited that y'all are part of the team. And Ginger, good morning. And TGIF, yes, thank goodness it's Friday.
Absolutely.
Of course, I want to be helping people tomorrow and Sunday, and
Absolutely.
So anyhow. So,
but not today from 1 to 4 because the Astros are playing, so we can't. Go Astros! I'm gonna throw that out there.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if I'm buying a house today, sometime
I wouldn't
between
either,
1 and 4.
at all.
So, and that's the other thing is I want to continue to buy houses, because the market's continuing to change,
Yes.
and if I stop buying houses, then I feel like that the information that I'm learning new, because like right now, I was talking last night to our base camp folks and explaining, there's 3 major frauds that are happening across the marketplace right now. And one fraud that's happening, and you better be aware of it, is it's the title fraud. And what I mean by that is that, it used to be on MLS, because this just changed on MLS on Friday of last week, a week ago today. But you could see the listing agent's name, you could see the buyer's agent name, and you'd see the title company name all listed there. And HAR's taken
they've taken that off.
They've taken that off.
Okay.
You don't see because like our listing agent, Audra, she had a client she was representing as a buyer, was going to put $140,000 down on a house, and was going to be financing the difference, and get about 4 or 5 days ahead of closing, get an email, and it has the emails, the logo of the title company, and
you can get off the internet,
which they did probably, yeah. Okay. And it referenced the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. It was it looked like it was straight from the title company. And it said, here's the wiring instructions for, your closing on address which is all off of HAR.
Wow.
And this guy said, oh, yeah, and then wired it to that routing number and account number, and $140,000 is now gone.
Wow.
And he went to the FBI, and they said, well, we kind of deal with much bigger numbers than that.
They need to find out, how much beer people drank in high school.
Yeah,
they
of course.
They don't have time to be chasing.
Right. So that's one thing you got to be concerned about. Then second thing you got to be concerned about is, by the way, if you're listening or following on Facebook right now, could y'all do me a huge favor? Just first off, like us on Facebook. And then the second thing, would you mind sharing this feed to your own personal site? Because I'd like our audience to be able to grow. We want to make a difference in more and more people's lives, and the way that we can do that is if you share it on Facebook. I certainly would appreciate that. Thanks so much. So the second thing that's happening is that people are taking properties that are listed for rent, okay, especially when they're listed on MLS. So, like, I know somebody right now has a property listed for rent for $2,200 a month.
Okay.
Now, somebody else will come in and start marketing that property
on Craigslist.
On Craigslist or through signs in the neighborhood.
Okay.
But they'll say, property for rent, $800 a month. And when they call, I'm just looking to get it, I don't want it to be vacant for very long. And if you'll just give me $800, in cash plus $800 down, and they sign a lease and all that, move them in. Now you've got a squatter as the landlord, and they've got $1,600.
I worked with a girl a few years back, single mom, autistic child, right?
Yeah.
Didn't make a lot of money, but
right.
she was doing what she had to do.
Sure.
And she came across this rent deal that was
too good to be true.
Too good to be true, right?
Sure.
So,
but hey, man,
she locked it up immediately.
Yeah, of course, right.
They couldn't meet her to give her the keys
right.
that day. That whole thing.
Yeah, of course.
And when she finally goes, right, she saw everything through pictures.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. But it turns out that that house was not even somebody was living there. It wasn't
right.
even for rent. So. Right. You got to be careful. So what's the third one?
So the third one is similar to the rental thing, but it's actually selling the house. So like we actually had a property that we were scheduled to close on last Friday, and lo and behold, when on Wednesday our title company was getting ready for the closing on Friday and did an updated title commitment, and somebody, what they had been doing is for the previous 2 weeks they had been sticking signs out in the neighborhood that said house for sale. And it was a house that needed a lot of work, and so they would, somehow they got access to the lockbox, to the keys.
Okay.
And so I don't know if there's an agent involved or how they did it exactly, but they had the keys. They would show the house on the inside, and like, oh hey, we need $30,000 cash is all. And sure enough, a lady put $500 down to hold it, and then they kept hounding her for the other amount, and they actually deeded the property over from somebody to this buyer. And filed it with the Harris County Clerk's Office.
Wow.
And also created a vendor's lien, which clouded the title. So that created a title issue for us. And
on the second pull.
On
right
the second
closing?
pull,
okay.
right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So the buyer, this buyer of the property, she lost $500. Could have lost $30,000. Could have been much worse. But you got to be careful out there, guys. You've got to make sure. Now, she was savvy enough when she put the $500 down to hold it. She went the next day to go to the county clerk's office. She went actually to the county tax office to see are there any back taxes, because she was nervous that once I buy this property for $30,000, maybe there's $50,000 in taxes, right? So then it was a red flag for her. Like, hey, the person that I'm buying this from is not the person that is actually listed according to the tax office as the owner of the property. Wow. And then she said, well, isn't there a way that we can close at a title company? And the guy said no. And it just, all I can tell you is the bad guys are out there trying to take advantage of unsuspecting people. So, and there's three major ways that that's taking place. And I want to be one of the people in the marketplace that is making people aware of that's going on. And then the second thing that I want to do is I want to be the guy that's standing in the gap for what's right.
Yes.
And I want to go after these people. So this, not just because it happened to me, but I think that if it happened to me, I don't believe that that's an isolated incident.
Absolutely not.
So I'm laying out all the facts, and unfortunately we have access, we have full-time on staff, private investigators and skip tracers and forensic genealogists and people like that we get access to data really, really fast. And because of that, we're going to be working with the Harris County District Attorney to make sure that they get involved.
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like I have a voice in the marketplace that it's going to become known that this is what's going on, and I believe that the Harris County District Attorney is going to take action. I believe in them. I'm going to believe the best for them, and that they're going to, because I believe this is the tip of the iceberg.
And I think a lot of it, too, is just simply making people aware that it's going on, so you can watch for red signs. You know, just the same thing when there's terrorist issues like that. Just be aware of your surroundings, right?
Absolutely.
And if you know what's going on in the marketplace, you may not be able to prevent it 100% of the time, but when red flags pop up, you can get out ahead of it a little bit quicker.
Excellent. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. If you want to call in, join in on the conversation. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned through the break. We'll be back on the other side. And tell your friends we're on the air.
Mike's off.
All right, I'm going to run the wrist.
All right. Cool, man. Oh, she's a brick house.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
I can sing that song. That's one of my favorites.
No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today.
I'm going to date myself a little bit, but I went to a military school in 8th grade. So when I was 13, I was down in Harlingen at the Marine Military Academy. And they did not allow us in the military school to bring very many personal items. We could have no items of personal clothing. But I was allowed to have a very small radio / I can't say CD player. It was actually an AM/FM radio with an 8-track tape player in it. It was really pretty small. I could keep it on my study desk, and it had speakers that split out. So I was able to have a few 8-track tapes, and one of them I had was the Commodores, Lionel Richie, and it was the album that had that song on it, Brick House. So I used to, on Saturdays, we could play kind of quiet during the week, but they'd let us, I'd say let our hair down, but we weren't allowed to have very long. I had a buzz cut back then, and one day I'll have to post that picture, and so yes, that explains a lot about me, right? So I used to crank to the Brick House song.
Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more.
What's going on, Joel?
Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
Jorge, what's up, man?
All right, guys, 1 minute.
Whatever.
If your insurance company is slow,
Whatever.
You could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders. The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset.
Man,
they know
this
what
is
you need
not
and when you
intuitive
need it.
at all.
We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties.
That's what I'm looking for.
Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
This is Business 1110.
All right, fellas, hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. I've got Daniel live in the studio with me with his see-through shirt.
I feel like every time you call me in here is when I'm wearing this particular shirt.
Yeah, of course.
I almost wonder if...
Because when you're in the office, you know, you're normally wearing the Right Path green, and so you wear the colors, and then but you're not full-time Right Path. You work with Draco also. And is your ear thing? Did you do that on purpose?
Nope.
Oh, there you go.
That's how I roll.
Yeah,
you know?
That might be a little more. If you put the cushion against the ear.
I just want to hear you over here. That's my good ear.
So, you know, that we can have fun in radio, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, isn't it important to be able to have fun when you do what you do? And I have fun helping other people get started in real estate, whether it's somebody like Mark, who got started a year ago, had been buying 2 to 3 houses a year for buy and hold, growing his wealth and income that way. Over a 10-year period of time, had bought 27 houses, which, bravo, that's more than like 99.99999% of people ever do in their entire life in terms of building wealth and income. However, he joined us September of last year, and from then, really the updated story is his goal was to get to 50 houses. And so really he bought 23 houses in the next year.
Wow.
Added over $1.5 million in captured equity, and then grew his annual income through excess, net revenue from the rental income over $150,000.
Wow.
To do that in 1 year,
When
so
they've
to
been
do
buying
work
3 a year previously, right?
Yeah, to do 23 in 1 year. Yeah, that's. So, just picking up an extra level of knowledge, right? And then I get excited about that, but then I also get excited about someone that's never done real estate, and that's, I don't know how old she is, and she's smart lady. I mean, a CPA, knows accounting, right? But doesn't know much about real estate, knows all kinds of stuff about accounting and books and things like that. But, how would I find a deal? How would I fund the deal? I mean, she's got money, so that's not the issue, but came to our weekend, took action. I mean, here we are 2 weeks later. She's already contracted 2 houses. Yep. They were found for her. They were, the inspector seen the property, the contractor sees the property, the appraiser sees the property. I mean, now the deal analyzer explains the numbers to her. I mean, she's a numbers person, so it's like, okay, now she's going to get captured equity. She's going to get appreciation, so her wealth is going to grow. She's going to get cash flow as well. I mean, it's like, man, I get excited about that.
And I think that's what's awesome, too, about what we do here, man. I've seen so many people that come in with no real estate experience like her, and when you see the first one get done, and you kind of start to see that glint in their eyes, right? And they start to catch the bug.
Right.
But then you see the people that have been doing this longer than you have.
Right, sure.
Right?
Right.
But they just keep doing the same thing. They have the same year of experience
right.
over and over. So they've been doing it for 15 years, but they really have 1 year of experience.
Yeah, there's a big. You bring up a good point. 15 years of experience is not the same thing as 1 year of experience 15 times.
Absolutely.
So unless you're growing in your knowledge base, unless you're surrounding yourself, like I used to play competitive racquetball. I've talked about that a few times before. Now, if I had just been playing the same guy, that's what a lot of times, I've got this buddy, he and I, we play, right?
Yeah.
So unless he's getting better or I'm getting better, if we're just playing each other all the time, we're not getting better. What I want to do, like if you and I were playing all the time, I'd say, hey, and let's say I beat you, right? I mean, if I was lucky enough.
Allegedly.
Okay, so then I'd say, hey, who's the best guy you've ever played? I mean, I want to go play that guy,
Absolutely.
right? And then I'd play them, and if I beat them, I'd go, hey, who's the best guy you've ever played? And I want to keep playing against better and better people. They say that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the
Absolutely.
most, right? So just decide, are you going to be okay 20 years from now living the lifestyle that you think your 5 buddies are going to be living 20 years from now? Right?
Well, and also, the saying, if you're at the front of the classroom, if you're the head of the class, you're probably in the wrong class, right? How much can you grow
right.
in a classroom where you're the number one guy?
Hey, Sham asked us a question on the Book of Faces here. If you're buying a house with a family member living in there, should you take it and after evict him? So I typically want to evict a family member prior to that person, but before I close on the house. And we've done that recently. I had a situation where grandfather passed away, grandson's been living in the house for like 10 years. The son is the person that actually was the owner of the house but didn't live in it. So the son gave us a limited power of attorney because the son didn't want to evict the grandson. But I'm like, hey, I'll do that. I'll do that on your behalf so that you're not the bad guy. So the son gave us a limited power of attorney to give us the power to evict them. And so we went into eviction court, evicted them, and then we always try and do like cash for keys. I also offered the guy $2,000 to be out in like 5 days.
He just wouldn't do because he had done so much work on the house.
Yeah, you actually went out on this house with me. So
I went on the grand tour when he showed us all the work he'd done.
Yeah, we showed up. We knocked on the door. The house is supposed to be vacant. So I was told by the son that the house was already vacant, right? So we Jason and you and I, we were up in Dallas, and we go, and I'm starting to take pictures outside, and I take a picture of the front, and I'm working my way around the right-hand side, and I look, wait, there's a window open there, and I'm like, so I get a little bit closer, and I'm like, oh, man, that stinks. That smells like B.O., and that doesn't smell like long ago. That smells like fresh B.O., like hello, somebody in there, and sure enough, there was. I'm like, okay, so it's not. So knock on the door. He comes to the door. Actually, he didn't come. Somebody else.
Friends,
couple of his couple of his drug buddies. Really, is what it was.
Absolutely.
And then, he came out. No, man, his house isn't for sale. It's not. It's not yours to sell, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it was an interesting story. So I would not have bought that house with him still in the property. I would have wanted to deal with that situation prior to that. But now we have bought properties before and we own a piece of property right now, and we actually gave a life estate. There's an elderly woman. She wants to live out her life in that house, and it's kind of an unusual situation. She's in her late 80s, and she's a smoker. And not only does she smoke, but she typically has 2 of her daughters in this very small 10-by-10 room, her bedroom, and they're smoking in there with her. I mean,
so with your insurance background, you pulled up that little table.
She's way off the chart on the. She's also diabetic. She's got heart disease. She is not a healthy woman. I'll just say that. God bless her. But so I gave her a life estate and said, hey, you sell me your interest. I'd already bought from all of her because she inherited her portion of the property, but she didn't inherit it by herself. So I think she had like the last 1/8 interest in the property.
Wow.
So I already owned 7/8 of the property. And she didn't want to sell because she wanted to pass away there.
Yeah, instead of forcing her out.
Now, and so what my interest was is she had like 5 kids. So now I'd rather deal with one person that has 1/8 instead of 5 people that each have 1/40.
Yeah,
as you can imagine,
absolutely.
I'm good at fractions like that. And so sure enough, I was able to buy out her part and grant her a life estate. And so as soon as she passes, then
awesome.
Then the property's going to be mine.
And you don't have to worry about any claim from the 5 kids.
Nope, not at all. Because they don't have anything to inherit because she's already sold her interest in the property.
So I think it's interesting situations like this that. when you've done 500 houses, right? You've
and counting, right?
You've done almost one of everything, right? So when our students are coming across these situations, whether it's on the active side or the passive side, when we come across these kind of things, it's very rare do you see something new.
Right. I'd love for callers to call in and try and stump me with something I haven't seen already, right?
For those of you that don't know, this is a call-in show.
Yeah, 713-785-1817, right.
Absolutely. So I'd like to go back earlier. You mentioned something, and it kind of stuck with me for a minute.
Okay.
And, when you got into this business and started seeing some success on the Houston House Buyer side and realized that people were going to force you in to the education side of it just because there was no other way, right? Just because of the quality of education that's out there in what you've done. I won't name names or throw shots or anything like that, but looking back now, you've always had a heart of service. I know your history and a lot of things like that, and I don't know that you ever knew it was going to be on this grand of a scale of where we are now and where we're going and things like that. But you said something. You have to keep buying houses in order to continue to provide the right kind of mentorship.
Yeah, the fresh content, right?
Right, and to me, that's almost full circle. Like you were so good at buying houses that people wanted to learn from you. Now you have so many people that want to learn from you. You have to keep buying houses.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that just kind of crossed my mind the way that cycled through, and I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, and I see so many people that they start, maybe they've done houses 20 years ago, and then they start teaching, and then teaching takes over, and they don't dedicate the time necessary or build the systems and processes to do both, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that if I were to stop buying houses today, that I could still teach this weekend, and I could teach next weekend, and I could teach the next weekend, but if I got about 6 months out, not everything that I would be teaching would be out of date, but I think that there'd be some, and this is just extrapolating, right? But I think, or guesstimating, it's somewhere between 10 and 20% of what I'd be teaching would be out of date.
Yeah, and every 6 months that passes, it gets a little bit less and less.
And I think that it'd be probably another 10% 6 months later and another 10%. So I think within about 2 years, I'd be about 50% out of date. Now, some of the core stuff in terms of the math and things like that wouldn't be changing.
Yeah.
But especially on the buy and hold side, and then
with the market.
But the market's changing, and the business changes, and tools change. And I mean, like, there's a great tool. I'll give away a free tool right now. I don't care if you have iOS or I don't care if you have Android, but everybody needs to know about this tool, and you will thank me later. What the tool is, hey, Erica, welcome to the show. Yeah, share this on your radio show as well. I love it when other people that have radio shows themselves listen, and please, again, abundance mentality, right?
Absolutely.
So, Erica, share this. Landglide. If you don't know about Landglide already, Landglide is amazing. I was sharing it with Ashley Patton when we were sitting down there on the couch at Gillies on Wednesday night this past week. And because I was telling him about this property that I bought, where I bought a 1/2 interest in this property. And there's a guy for the last 3 weeks that's been researching whether or not what I did was legal. And I'm like, you just don't know me, bro. You just don't know me. I don't do it if it's not, right? So... and I said, why don't you listen to the show? Just see who I am. Just because I think who I am comes out. I hope it comes out in the show. And he goes, well, you just, every time you call, you're coming with so much energy and I just feel like you're I'm like, dude, I take action. I move. I take action quickly. It's taken you 3 weeks and you haven't gotten your attorney to return your call in 3 weeks. By then, I would have gotten in my vehicle. I would have sat myself down in their office. They would not have been able to avoid me in 3 weeks. I do more in 30 minutes than you do in 3 weeks.
I think maybe if your attorney won't return your call, maybe there's a relationship problem there.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you have the wrong attorney.
I was like, why don't you call my attorney? Why don't you call Ashley Patton? And I told Ashley, I said, hey, bro, I didn't give out your personal cell phone. And I explained the situation. He goes, feel free to give it out anytime. I go, let me tell you the situation. He goes, hey, thanks for not giving it out.
In hindsight.
Yeah. Hey, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. We're going to go into a break. Please stay tuned. We'll be back on the other side. Tell your friends we're on the air.
Mic's off.
Yeah. Erica, we need to get together, go to lunch, something like that.
Sheetrock that's coming apart.
I'd like to get it.
Jimmy?
I'd love to get a update on what's going on, how you're doing. If I can help you in any way.
Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009 and has completed over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in the business of repairing foundations or selling you unnecessary.
So, Sham, hopefully that answers your question.
We're in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each of our files
Jimmy,
is reviewed
Daniel
by
gets
a
the
licensed
caps.
I got the actual tag. You just got hand time.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
3825. That's 346-702-3825. Or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com. That's foundationcheck.com. Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling.
Hey, now that, so here my brother Jeff, and I think Elijah's on this commercial as well, so don't want to share any details, but if anybody listening, if y'all are the praying type, please keep Elijah and his family in your prayers. So Elijah's healthy and all that, but just know that that their family needs prayer, just for peace in their home.
Never hurts.
Yeah.
$99.92.
Time is money in a real estate deal.
Yeah, thanks,
If
Erica.
the company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's their
I think I'm gonna tell the doctor story tomorrow. Excuse me, today.
Yeah, I would definitely tell
So
today.
you gotta keep this, because this is a very directional microphone.
Does it need to be super close?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Andy tells me that they can hear me breathing.
Oh, is that right?
Real estate investors.
Well, hey, Nikki.
If you're not familiar with questions
Nikki.
IRA,
So how's his volume?
let's tell
Because
you what you're
his
missing.
microphone needs to be
We've got
closer, in my
free
opinion.
educational classes,
Go ahead and talk.
No, he sounds fine.
Okay,
Mic
good.
check, mic check.
Yeah. All right, good. Because if he's moving the mic away sometime, and I think he sounds too quiet.
Okay, no, he sounds fine.
Okay, good.
I've got a voice that carries, I'm told.
Tuesday
Yeah.
morning and evening. For more information, call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs.
I actually want it, and I don't know, Andy, are you watching? Are you listening?
Yeah, he's the one that shot me the message that I was
Okay, that you can hear.
I was huffing and puffing in the microphone.
Not so that was Andy. Not
he said
not,
either pull the mic away from your mouth or stop breathing.
Well,
So
here, let me see
I
if I
chose
can
to
do
pull it
this.
away from my mouth.
How about that?
The stop breathing thing's
Yeah.
never really been a big thing for me.
Yeah, breathing's so overrated.
It's so overrated.
What their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online.
Man, I'm so excited about our new office space.
Oh man,
and
me
having
too.
having a gym in the building. The gym's not built out yet, but I am so excited about that. Hey, good morning, Andrew.
That exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors.
Hey, so for everybody listening, announcement that we have is that we're moving at the end of this month to a new office space. 13501 Katy Freeway is going to be our new address. Our space when it fully gets built out and all that, we've got to move into temporary space because they don't have time to complete the build out. But we're going to overlook the lake. And
no sign of action takers.
Yeah,
we're moving in before the offices are built.
Right,
so.
right. Yeah.
Of what you earn. Call us today at 800-706-4741 and mention Right Path Real Estate.
Good morning, Andrew.
This is Business 1110.
All right, fellas, hot mics.
Hey, welcome back.
Anytime.
Right Path Real Estate Radio. 713-785-1817. 713-785-1817. So I want to tell a story about something that happened yesterday. Because what I recognize is if people have the right mindset, and the mindset is about building relationships. I hear all the time things like, oh, Tom, one of the things that I find that's really hard is finding good contractors. And I go, okay, so are you trying to build a relationship with a contractor or just get a really low price? Right? Because if your best friend was a contractor and you knew they were going to take care of you price-wise, I mean, you wouldn't expect them to do it for free. They need to make, but if assuming they ran a good business, you would want, you would trust them. They would trust you. Build a relationship. You wouldn't really worry about the numbers.
Absolutely.
They made an extra $500, no big deal, right? But if you don't have a relationship, you're always beating somebody up on price because you don't have an abundance mentality. So I love my doctor, my personal doctor. He's about my age. For those of y'all that don't know, I spent my first 3 years of undergrad pre-med, so I have a strong science background. I was an EMT in college. I was an X-ray tech in college. I mean, I took hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of X-rays. I was a lab tech in college. I mean, I've actually done the CBCs and the diffs and, all that lab work. I mean, I've done all of those lab tests. I've done urinalysis. I've looked at urine I did all the urine tests, all that kind of stuff. Never drank it, promise. So I've done all those things, right? I've set up cultures. I've read cultures. I've done all. I was a phlebotomist. I was the guy, you went in, I'd draw the blood in college. I worked at Herman Hospital in the trauma center. I know more about healthcare than the average person does. Then at the end of my junior year, after working in healthcare that much, seeing what really most doctors say, man, living is great, life is terrible, right? I mean, being a doctor, you can make a good living. It's hard to make a great life, right? Yeah. So, and I've talked about that with my doctor, and he's an Aggie for undergrad, so we've got all these things in common. And I told him, so I've been struggling because I needed to get a prescription filled, and I go see him every 6 months just for a well man check, right? Kind of like a woman check, but for men, right? Yeah, just like that.
But different.
But different. Yes, but different. Okay, so don't get me sidetracked. So once every 6 months, now I expect that my prescription's, good for the next 6 months, right? So I call up my pharmacy and say, hey, need to get a refill on this, and they go, oh, well, you're out of prescription. I'm like, well, that should. And that was Friday of last week. And
so it wasn't that you used the pills before. It was that the prescription wasn't long enough.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I feel like is that, hey, if I'm there and all my labs check out and all, there's no reason why they don't renew as many refills as I need for the next 6 months, right? So I'm busy, right? I think people know that. So I picked up the phone, called, and hey, doc, didn't talk to the doctor, but this is the problem. It took until Thursday of this week for them to finally send the renewal, and so I thought about what should I do about this. So I actually, on Wednesday, when they still hadn't done it, I scheduled a doctor's visit because I thought, well, I want to actually have a meeting with my doctor about not my health, but about his back office situation. Like, I like him as a doctor, but doctors are always also businessmen.
Absolutely.
And most doctors know a ton about medicine, but they don't know much about running a business typically because they don't go to business school too.
Absolutely.
It's pretty much specific to medicine, right?
Yes.
So I just decided, hey, I can whine and complain about it to myself or to like what most people do is tell each other.
Yeah.
In fact,
or gripe at the girl at the counter who's not going to do anything about it. Right.
Everywhere I go, I'm confronted with situations where I feel like I can speak life into other people, where I can say, hey, don't do this other thing instead. I was at the airport flying back, and I was getting some vegetarian food, right? And the people at the counter, they were talking about other employees. And I'm like, hey, unsuccessful people talk about other people. Successful people talk about ideas.
Absolutely.
So quit talking about other people. Hey, come on, you have an opportunity to raise up, right? Yeah. So anyhow, I scheduled an appointment to go see my doc. So he closed the door. Hey, how you feeling? He looked at it and goes, hey, you shouldn't really be here you're like a month early. What's going on? I go, well, I'm not really here to talk to you about my health. I'm really here to talk to you about your business because, Doc, I really like you as my doctor. Everything that happens, in our dialogue about my health, you let me give input about managing my own health, and I get to give you, you listen and all of that, and you give me advice, and I ask questions, but everything that happens on the other side of that door, that whole back office thing, man, that is not good. It really makes me not want to be here.
You got to assume that's not an isolated incident, right?
Right. And he said, man, you know what? He goes, it's not that I'm not aware of that. And he goes, thanks for bringing that to me. But he said, look, I'm aware of it, and I'm working on it. And he says, but thanks. And I go, well, what? And I explained the prescription thing from Friday to Thursday. I mean, that's like 6 days. And
well, they got to fill it out, put it in this folder, then it's got to get picked up and moved over to the other desk. You know, it's a process.
And I said, well, I mean, if that happens again, he goes, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. And that's called relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not seeking to go in there angry, and I'm seeking from a heart of, I want to help you. I like you. I want to help you.
You're not trying to rectify that situation just so it can be easier for you. You care enough about him and his business to know continuing down that road is going to be detrimental to his future business.
Right. So out of relationship, he says, yeah, I appreciate that. I value who you are and what you're trying to do. He gets it, right?
Yeah.
So he said, look, I'm going to call you from my phone. He goes, this is your number, right? So he called me pulled out his cell phone. He called me, said, lock that number in. That's my cell phone number. If you need me, call me. Can you imagine if you did that kind of thing with your contractors, with your appraisers, with your inspectors, with the people with your wholesalers, can you imagine? Now, is it going to make an overnight sensation? You know, the next 30 days, is it going to impact? Imagine if you did that for a year, where your real estate investing business would be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. Imagine what your Rolodex would look like if you were doing that long term.
And I think a lot of the problem is when they get in a real estate deal, all they see is that deal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's hard to think big picture when you're looking at the numbers on a specific deal. But if you're getting in this business just to do one deal, great, have at it.
Yes.
Get the lowest price you possibly can.
Yes.
You're done.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I've yet to meet somebody that goes, hey, you know what? Just want to give me one house.
Yeah, right, and I'm done.
I'm good.
Right, one and
not
done.
A thing,
no,
right? That's not a thing.
No.
So why not?
Right.
I mean, why not plan to do this the right way?
Right.
Save yourself. It's not just the money.
It's not.
It's doing this business the wrong way.
Right.
It'll kill you.
Right.
It really will. It's so stressful. There's so many things that go wrong. You don't have anybody you can lean on. You don't trust anybody.
Right.
Imagine, doing all this stuff without having trust in relationships.
Yes.
I can't imagine living that way. I just can't imagine it.
It'd be difficult.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you listen to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. So what else do we want to talk about? Are you working on any deals yourself?
Yeah, I've got a couple deals going. We actually just did one with one of the students here. We're locking that up. The young lady you were talking about earlier.
Sure, right.
One of those came from us at Draco.
Okay.
Nice little rental that'll cash flow great.
Yeah. Can you share the numbers? Do you remember the numbers of the specific deal?
I don't off the top of my head.
You do a lot of deals. I understand that.
I do.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, she'll be all in for 60.
Yeah.
And
that's not out of pocket 60.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
talking
borrowing.
all in, purchase, rehab, everything.
Yeah, right. She's all in for 60.
And I think it rents for $975.
Yeah. And what do you think what's the ARV on the property?
ARV is probably 105, 110.
Holy smokes. So she's capturing $45,000 or $50,000. So she's almost doubling her $60,000 investment. But better than that, so she's going to leverage, right? She's not paying cash.
Absolutely.
So how much is she putting down?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, got it. We'll have to get the answer to that. We'll share that information on Monday. So what
I'm willing to bet, looking at the numbers, by the time the rehab's going to be a real quick rehab.
Sure, right.
She'll refi that thing and probably be very little out of pocket.
Yeah, so almost no money. So how about, what if you could buy a piece of property that just in buying it, the moment that you buy it, and this is the difference between like buying stock. You know, if I buy 1,000 shares of Exxon stock and it's trading at $85 a share, then I just spent $85,000. But I'm not buying it at a discount to its value. But if I buy a $110,000 house for only $60,000 all in,
1 minute.
I'm buying at a huge discount. That's what investors do. In fact, if you really study what Warren Buffett has done, is he's always bought at a discount to what, you know, in stock market terms, there's something called book value.
Yeah.
And the book value is what are all the assets worth? Like how much cash do they have on hand? What's the real estate they own? What's the inventory they have? What's the brand equity they have? All that. So it's like, what's the owner equity, right? So what's the book value of the business? Now, if you liquidate it, sell it off, convert the assets to cash, what would that, and if you can buy at a discount to that, then you're investing.
Yes.
Everything else is called speculation. You're listening to Right
Absolutely.
Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned through the break. We'll be right back.
Mike's off.
Welcome, Oscar. Thanks for joining us.
It's weird that I got a call from a restricted number. If we
I
weren't
saw
live,
that.
I would have answered that.
I know. Those are always the ones
I know,
you're like
right?
really curious
I know,
about.
right?
And you could never call back.
Yeah.
Slow or non-responsive. You
That's
could do the
right.
deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark.
Ba-da-da-bow,
Insurance Protect. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you. Call Houston's leading real estate risk management experts, Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas, 281-569-4353.
Oh,
That's
I bet I know what I need to do there.
281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen
Probably
is a
don't
group
need
of
to see
appraisers
that.
specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a
Probably
number of what
don't
their property is worth,
need.
but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give Next Gen a call at 713.
Oh, did you notice on the, because you were on the
or check us out
the
online
base
at
camp last night, right?
nextgenappraisals.com.
Were you not?
I was
No.
not.
So you okay?
I was on the Pathfinder
Yeah,
yesterday. I
that's
had
right, yeah.
football practice last
Yeah,
night.
yeah, yeah.
Fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties.
I noticed
Jet lending will
that
help you purchase properties
when I
quickly
did base
with
camp
as
last
little
night,
cash out
it
of
said
pocket as
Tom
possible.
on
Jet
the-
lending also sets up a
Interesting.
repair escrow fund
it's
to
doable.
help you with repair costs. Jet lending is your fast,
going on, David?
friendly, hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281.
Do you have a number rule on buy and hold that you stay under? Not sure if that makes sense, but on a flip, we try for the 70% minus repairs.
Time is money in a
So
real
Daniel,
estate deal. If your insurance
so here's
company
the
is slow
deal.
or non-responsive, you could lose
The
a deal
marketplace,
like that. You need
and
a quick
here's the,
turnaround on
oh
quotes
man, this
or
is a
binders.
longer topic.
Agency for that is Benchmark Insurance
In fact, I'm
Protect.
about ready to shoot a video about this very
Benchmark
topic.
understands the investor mindset.
The
They know what
issue
you need
is that when we're buying at a discount, we're buying at a discount to retail. And so when we're flipping houses north of 200 in Houston and south of about, let's say, 600 is the like 95% of our flips. And that retail market is still pretty vigorous. So I'd say for every 8 or 9 retail owner occupants that buy those houses, there's 1 or 2 that go to investors. So the comp is a retail buyer. In the buy and hold space, below, let's say, $170,000, from especially from about 60 to about 150. What most people don't recognize in the marketplace that happened is that the retail buyers have disappeared. Because they really, it's difficult for that price range house to get financing. So we can't buy 70% from the retail marketplace because the retail marketplace is almost non-existent. What I would suggest is instead of it being 8 or 9 out of every 10 buyers are retail like it is in the flip space, it's 8 or 9 out of every 10 buyers are investors. So if Daniel buys a property for 130 and he's an investor, that shows up as a comp, but it's not a retail comp. So how do I buy at a discount to that? And that's the problem that we've experienced over the last 2 years is most investors haven't seen that it's investors buying against other investors. And so stop and think. If a retail buyer used to buy at 150 and then I'm an investor, so now I want to buy at 70, let's say 75% of that. So I'm buying at, let's say 120. And then, but I'm an investor, right? And then you're an investor, so you want to buy it at a discount to 120, so you buy it 100. Well, then I'm a different investor, and I want to buy it at a discount to the 100. So that keeps going down and down and down until finally cash buyers step in and say, I don't care what the price is. I'll pay full quote unquote retail, because retail is only retail when it's retail buyers doing it. So what I'd say is the reason why what we're seeing is that investors are buying at 85 or 90%, sometimes even 95%, sometimes even 100%. They're buying at full retail because it's retail compared to other investors buying.
Not compared to actual retail.
Correct.
So I don't think there's a set rule on that, Daniel. I think it's what is the cash flow?
Right.
What are your goals on the deal? And if it works, then it works.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah, of course. We were ready.
All right. All right, here we go. Hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. For those of y'all that are listening on terrestrial radio or are streaming, you might want to try our Facebook page because we continue the conversation during the breaks where we're continuing. People are asking us questions on Facebook. People are asking us, and we're responding during the break. And so all you got to do is go over to, just log into Facebook, go to Right Path Real Estate. You'll see a little green RP in a black box. Click on that, like the page, start following us there. Continue to listen if you like on terrestrial radio or on the streaming. Also, Andrew asked a question. I have a question. Have 4 properties, so I've had to connect gas 4 times. I work a full-time job, so I've had to take half days off work just to sit around waiting for these gas connection guys. Do y'all wait around for gas to set up? How do y'all do gas setups when y'all do so many deals? No, I do not sit around for gas setups.
No?
No.
Interesting.
This is one of the things that I harp on a lot. You got to know what your time is worth. And so, and most people, I was talking about this when I was up in Dallas with 2 young ladies there, and I said, "What's your time worth?" And they go, "I don't know." And I go, "Well, how much you want to make a year?" "Well, like $500,000 a year." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah.
How many times have you done that?
Yeah, right.
So, Andrew, I think it's important to realize, I don't know what you do for your full-time job, but if you can hire somebody for a little bit less than what you make at your full-time job to not take that half a day off, doesn't it make sense to have somebody there for you?
Yeah, so if let's say if you make $50 an hour at your job, and $50 an hour, 40 hours a week is about $2,000 a week, which is about $100,000 a year. So just use that as the math. So I just say $2,000 a week times 50 weeks out of the year is $100,000, right? So if so for every $100,000 a year that you want to make or you do make, then that's about $50 an hour. Now, if you're less than that, if you make $50,000 a year, you're at about $25 an hour. So for me, I'd rather hire somebody and pay them $15, $20 an hour, maybe $25 an hour. I give them $100. Go hang out. It's worth $100 to me to go have somebody hang out for 4 hours. And if they come in the first hour, keep the 100. I mean, really, keep the.
Do you know any teenagers that will play games on their phone
right.
for $100?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe. Yeah, that's what I would do. Or maybe get a neighbor. Go knock on a couple of neighbors' doors and say, "Hey, can I leave a sign? Can I pay you $50 or $100? Are you going to be here for the next 4 hours?" That's what I would do.
Yeah,
is something like that. So there's some out of the box ideas because I would definitely not go spend my time there. Hey, if you like some of these ideas, if you enjoy our radio show, imagine if we can change your life in an hour here just by giving you some ideas that you wouldn't have thought of on your own. Then come to our weekend event. You get me for 8 hours, 2 days in a row. That's 16 hours. You get to do that every month that you want to for the next 12 months. If you want to find out more about that, head on over to rightpathrealestate.com. That's rightpathrealestate.com. We want to change lives so that you can leave a legacy for your family. Are you on a path right now for leaving a legacy for your family that will affect your family for generations to come? If you're not, you owe it to yourself and your family to take a look at what it is you're doing now and how you could shift that to create a new path for your family. Go to rightpathrealestate.com, rightpathrealestate.com. We have the weekend coming up. Good golf, good tennis, whatever makes you happy. It's going to be raining here. And go Stros!
Baby.
All right. Thanks for being in the show, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
See y'all Monday. Bye-bye.